Tubers, welcome back to another episode of Maxwell Starr's Beer Review. Tonight we're going to take a look at a spring beer this time. Going to take a look at a Spring Imp from Mill Street. Okay. Hey there, Beer Tubers, welcome back to another episode of Maxwell Starr's Beer Reviews. Tonight we're going to take a look at a beer that was brought back from Nova Scotia and originated from Ontario and was brought to me by Heist Almighty. He got two of these, so he gave me the other. Going to take a look at one of the beers that came out of their spring package, the Mill Street Spring Pack. Mill Street's Spring Imp, which I believe is a Bock. Spring Bock, yes. Strong beer, 7% ABV. Oof. Our Spring Imp is a Bock beer, no shit. Brewed for the season when the monks in Munich would traditionally release them, so it's a Maibock. These strong lager beers are rich in flavor as they are in history and will put a twinkle in your eye. Prost. It contains water, barley malt, and hops, as it should. Cool. So yeah, I've heard of Maibocks before, and I'm not going to get into the details of what a Maibock is. You can look that up. But it's a celebration beer for a month of spring, and I think the Germans considered the month of spring or the month of May in general as a separate season from the rest of the other four seasons, and it was a cause of celebration. And I think a Maibock was something typically brewed in the fall and then opened in the spring as part of their celebrations, as compared to many of their other beer styles, which I think were brewed the other way around. No, that's not correct. A lot of their beers were brewed in the fall. Oh, Oktoberfest is the other way around. A lot of the beers were brewed in the fall and cellar of the winter when it was cold in caves and stuff. And that's where, basically the style of lager originated from, because they used bottom fermenting yeast that operated better at lower temperatures. And the lager style has also become the predominant style of beer in the world, although I am an ale person. So looking at that, that's a pretty nice, it's like a copper color, somewhere between bronze and golden. Brassy. Maybe not so much brassy, but a little bit darker, and that's where I'm leading back to copper. So I led myself in a complete circle. Alright, so looking at that, the head is kind of like a slightly tanned eggshell kind of color, and there's lots of carbonation, although I'm pouring this into my Samuel Adams glass, which is a really nice glass. I really love these glasses. So it's got a little etching at the bottom, so there's going to be quite a bit of carbonation anyway. So it looks really nice. Let's give it a sniff. So, somewhat to what I would expect from a Maibock. It's a little bit fruity. It's got hints of apples and grapes in there. Maybe a touch of pineapple or something. You're thinking your lighter fruits, your bright fruits. And a citrusy quality, maybe not quite as bright as lemon, maybe not as sweet as lemon, but up in that department. I'll stick with pineapple. It's very faint though. If you were to describe how strong that smell is on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say that smell is around a 2. It's not a very strong smell. It's enough to say it's there, and I mean, a part of that could be it smells kind of like your European lager without the skunk. And there is a little bit like a herbal hot note to it. So the smell is rather weak, but there is a few different scents you can pick out of that. So, yeah, put her down the hatch. It almost comes across as being very light. And then it comes in a little bit heavier with a nice sweetness in the back. And toasted grains really coming up right now in the back too. But it starts off really light and then it weighs down just a slight bit as that sweetness starts to hit the back of your palate. And the sweetness kind of has this nice white grape kind of taste to it. Maybe a little bit like apple juice. One thing I will say though is that is soft. That is a really soft beer. It's almost like putting a it's almost like the equivalent of drinking this putting it down your throat is almost like smushing your head into a pillow, a nice soft downy pillow. So while it does sit a little heavy on your palate with that extra sweetness, comes right there. It responds. It comes right back up with you with that carbonation that comes with it. But it's not enough to make it burp, but is enough to cushion the blow. And it actually makes it nice and light. And it finishes quite dry. Like my back of my mouth is real dry right now. It's not doesn't have a lingering bitterness, just a little bit of a lingering sweetness. And that's really nice. Whether or not, though, I can say that that's true to the Springbok style, I don't know. The only thing I'd really have to say for that is it almost makes me want to say screw what the style says, because that's tasty. It's not a very strong smelling beer, not a very strong flavored beer, but for the strength of it, you can't taste the alcohol, and it's a very refreshing beer. Now, I can see it not being so refreshing once it goes flat, but I would hope you would drink it before then, and it certainly deserves to be drank before it gets flat, because that's really tasty. I gotta say that Mill Street's done it again. That's another beer that I really like. And some of Mill Street's seasonals, like, what did they have? They had like a Pilsner, which was not even close to a Pilsner, and a ginger beer that wasn't really that great. Mill Street's had hit or miss with their seasonals in the past, and this one, maybe not quite what I was expecting from the style, but it's a nice beer. That's a really enjoyable beer, and this is a great beer for spring. In fact, I'd really like to see this beer a little bit more than just a spring seasonal, because that's tasty, and I highly recommend it. I'm going to give that a 4 out of 5. I really like that beer. And it loses a bit for me because it's not quite towards the style, but it gains some of that back because I find it really tasty. Alright, so that's what I thought of Mill Street Spring Imp Springbok. Thanks for watching Maxwell Starr's Beer Reviews. We'll talk to you folks later. Cheers.